Hey guys, it's me, WWE Hall of Famer Bret Hart. And when you're talking about marriage, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, is these guys. The Old Bucks. Hola, amigos, it's Will here from Will's Custom Figures, coming at you today with a bad breakdown of these two custom Mattel, aka AEW wrestling figures of Liam Lemmy Matthews and his wife Kirsty. So please guys, sit back and relax while I talk you through everything, all the details, how I made it, and everything else in between. So firstly, why make this tag team wedding couple of the Old Bucks, AULD? Well, this was actually commissioned by Liam Lemmy Matthew very kindly because of his wedding day. This was the outfit they wore. They're huge wrestling fans, and he wanted to commemorate that special occasion in wrestling figure form for the rest of his life. And as you can see, they've turned out pretty cool. I'm so happy with the scale. I'm so happy with the clay work on the faces and on the jumpsuits that they're wearing. The Old Bucks design on the back, very similar to some of the Young Bucks. And of course, how could you ever look past all of those hundreds of thousands of tassels? I actually told Liam halfway through I was never going to work on a commission with tassels again. So, husband and wife team, let's bring in a couple of wrestlers as a comparison, just so you can have a look. Here, of course, is a WWE Elite Seth Rollins, as you can see, standing pretty tall there against an Elite Seth Rollins. Now let's bring in a Darby Allin from AEW so you can see how that scales against his wife Kirsty, and indeed scales pretty well. I'm really happy with how these guys look. Just for a bit of a lull size comparison, let's bring in the Big Show. And as you can see, this is an old school Jax Big Show figure. Absolutely towers above the rest of the guys there, but really happy with how it turns out. And I think quite a good scale. These are all my son's wrestling figures, but quite good scale for two random people that just love professional wrestling. Now I'm going to get both of these on the spinning turntable and talk you through how I actually made them. Here we go. And just before I do the turntable, I wanted to do a nice school photo, or a wedding photo, as it were. You can see both these head sculpts nice and close up. Really happy with how Kirsty's has turned out. The level of detail in the face, I've really tried to copy it from the pictures that he sent me, especially with the hair. The way the hair sat was very unique and nice little fringe, quiff, whatever you'd call it. Sorry, I'm not familiar with how girls call that kind of thing. But yeah, you know, very distinct from all the pictures. And of course, talking about distinct, Liam Lemmy Matthew, well, the reason he calls himself Lemmy is because, of course, Motorhead. And you can definitely feel the Motorhead oozing through this figure. That's what I'm going to try and get in there. Of course, he definitely is not Lemmy. Lemmy was a little bit older, a little bit more grizzled, but yeah, really happy with how this has turned out. Getting the detail in there so it looks like him, the eye colour, everything else. You can see all the different lights. Really does resemble the pictures that he sent me. And here we go on the Spinatron 5000. Let's just give it a little spin. Here we go in all of his glory. Man, the rhinestones, everything on here. He was very specific. He wanted like a Cadbury purple. And I'm pretty sure I've captured that Cadbury purple. All these tassels, actually, very interestingly, we used, I think it was Nick Jackson. And he has the sort of like the ankle, what would you call them? I guess like shin pads. And they have tassels that come off them. So when I removed those and sculpted on these sort of flary trousers at the bottom, I used all the little tassels that came in the AEW figure to do all of these ones coming off the arms. Very happy with how that's turned out. I really am. So as you can see, this is Liam from a few different angles. A lot of clay involved here. Luckily, the jacket was the jacket that came with the figure, but I've added on clay down the bottom here. Also added on clay at the back just to try and blend things in. Around the figure. The sleeves are already on there, and also had to glue the jacket in place because as any customizer will know from doing a custom figure, you don't want to be moving that figure around quite a lot, because if you're moving it, of course, then it's going to wear and tear. The head is completely made from clay, 100%, so I'm very happy with how that's turned out in the end. And it's attached, it doesn't actually move on there.
I generally will do a few different prices. There's a head that can move, and I use Procreate Putty, so the hair moves as well. Or I can do a little bit. I prefer to use just clay and just to attach the head onto the body. Less articulation, but for me, it looks more realistic. And depending on how you're going to be displaying it, this is if it's only being used as a display piece, is probably my preferred option. The other option involves using silicone molds, resin casting, and then lots and lots of painstaking additions of hair, adding each individual hair strand up. Now, here we go. Here is his wife, Kirsty, very happy with how this one's turned out. And this was actually a Beth Phoenix, I believe, base. Love the Beth Phoenix base. Very, very similar outfit as mentioned. I won't go over all the details again, but this one involved a little bit more clay around the legs. They both do have a calf split, so you can actually rotate the leg there. Yet again, with any custom, I'd recommend not to. The arms are all in this pose, this double bicep pose, just like the Young Bucks did, and it's one of the most distinctive pictures of him and his wife that was sent over to me in this position. So yet again, if they're going to move that around, it's probably going to move the paint, damage the paint work a little bit. One thing that I did try to do just to mitigate that was to use a spray paint. So by using spray paint for the white at the beginning, spray paint is a lot finer and a lot more difficult to actually to damage. Whereas if you just use just regular paints, I use Vallejo paints, as anyone watch this channel quite a lot would know, then it does scratch off a lot easier. So I've used spray paint all over the figure and then painted everything on top of it with some extra white layers of Vallejo and then glossed it and things. So again, with the Cadbury's purple for the boots, and for the rhinestones, a silver and purple mix. And very happy with how this has turned out. The jumpsuits, I think, were a real pain, but really, really looks decent. And I just want to say, let's just get Leon back on here as well. During this time of making these figures, I actually had my health scare where I was out of action. We agreed to make this custom in January, and unfortunately for me, I had my health scare with hospitalization and things like that for a couple of months. On and off, I was battling through my issues, and Leon just completely chill, focused on just me getting better and give me the opportunity to not worry about timescales. We had a timescale and a date in mind, but he just let me recover, get better. And I just wanted to say thank you as a person that works on commission pieces. I know it's an inconvenience not to get them in hand a little bit sooner, but at the same time, this is a present, I think, for their wedding anniversary or maybe birthday. And it gives me such a great deal of pleasure to be able to work on this for two really deserving and kind people. Oops, didn't mean for that to happen. Here we go, they're back up. Boof, safe. And overall, guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I've certainly enjoyed filming it. For me, rating wise, what would I do differently? Well, to be honest, this has been made to Liam's specifications, and I'm very, very happy with how every single aspect of this figure has turned out, from the faces to the boots to all of the tassels to the jumpsuits, the resemblance of the Young Bucks, but also not being just a replica and a duplicate of that. And also, of course, getting a female Young Buck outfit on there, a little bit different and something that we haven't seen before. And on that note, God, is there a better way of finishing than with the old Bucks at the back like that? What an amazing tag team this pair would be. And a big shout out as well to Liam, who is actually training as a wrestler. So what a badass. And please follow me, like, comment, subscribe if you've been watching for 9 minutes now. Thank you so much. Let me know in the comment section below if you like this. And if you want an action figure made of yourself, whether it's Marvel, DC, horror, or indeed a WWE/AEW wrestling figure, whatever it is, and whatever profession you have or your loved one has, man, how cool is it to get remembered in action figure form? And I'm very, very pleased to have immortalised these two for generations to come, for their friends and family to remember their wedding day. And what's next? Well, I have lots of figures in the pipeline, lots of retro figures, WWE, Hasbro retro, got lots of Marvel Legends coming up, as well as DC figures, very, very obscure ones as well. So I'm really excited to get those in hand for you. And that is it from me, guys. Remember to give me a follow, like, comment, subscribe, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, Instagram. I can't wait to hear from you. Until the next one, from the married couple here, Adios.